All right, guys, this is Activate Science Week 3, and we are going to be looking at some new questions today. So, question number one is from a passage, and it's talking about we've got these fruit flies, and so we've got looking at how diet and the ability to smell food can affect the lifespan. And so we've got two studies. Study one has 3 tubes, 15% sugar yeast. That's this SY here, and they've got 200 virgin female strain N fruit flies. And looks like strain N are normal, and strain X can are they are unable to detect. They can't smell, and so we've got nothing added to tube one, odors added to tube 2, and live yeast added to tube 3. And we're looking at this graph here. And so we've got percent alive versus the number of days they're alive. And you notice that in tube 1, they die off after day 50. Over here, we've got tube 2. There's a 5% sugar and 5% yeast. So this is 5%, this one's 15%. And over here you can tell that we've got the same percentage alive, the days, but obviously they live a lot longer. And so number one asks, which of studies 1 and 2 did some of the fruit flies live for more than 75 days, and what diet were they fed? And so more than 75 days, that is going to be these guys over here. That is study 2. We can get rid of A and B. And which food were they fed? They were fed SY medium. So that is C is our correct answer. All right, second study. Second question. Says during studies 1 and 2, why did the size of the fruit fly population in each tube decrease rather than increase? So we're looking at birth rate, death rate, and let's go back here and let's say then 200 virgin female strain N fruit flies less than 24 hours old were added, and over here we've got 200 virgin female strain N fruit flies. So that kind of makes sense that there wouldn't be any fruit flies being born. So let's take away death rate because that doesn't make a lot of sense. Death rate wasn't 0. They actually did die off on both of them. But so why was the birth rate 0? Was it because they were only males or because they were only females? Well, let's see. Females right there. So our answer is G. All right, same study, a different question. Why were they different? All right, this is what we're looking for. Study 1 and study 2 were different. Well, over here we've got this medium, the 15%. Over here we've got 5%. So let's see. Female to male, they were both females, so we can get rid of A and B. And then C says SY medium tested in study 1 contained a lower percent of sugar than study 2. And D says the SY in study 1 was a higher percent. Well, study 1 was 15%, study 2 is 5%. So what's higher, 15 or 5? 15 is higher. So D is our correct answer. Okay, we've got a new question here. We've got a new passage. The monarch butterfly. They migrate to Mexico in forests, and they store energy in lipid form to use as a source for a later time. Consider the following 3 hypotheses pertaining to when butterflies store lipids and when the energy from the stored lipids is used with respect to migration and overwintering. All right, so hypothesis 1. It says monarch butterflies require energy from stored lipids for migration and during overwintering period. They store lipids before they begin, and during migration, as stored lipids are done, as stored lipids are converted to energy, mass lipid continuously decreases. When the butterflies reach the overwintering sites ending their migration, they must store lipids again before beginning the overwintering period. So they need both times, migration and overwintering. Hypothesis 2 says monarch butterflies require energy from stored lipids for migration, but not during overwintering. So for migration, but not overwintering. they don't need any during their overwintering period, so they do not store lipids while at the overwintering sites. And in hypothesis 3, this says they require energy from stored lipids during the overwintering, but not migration. All right, so this one is migration and overwintering. This one is migration only, and this one is overwintering only. So, question number 8 here. Which hypothesis, if any, asserts that monarch butterflies store lipids during 2 distinct periods? There's 2 distinct periods right there. Hypothesis 1 is our answer. All right, last question. Same passage, but a different question. It says, which hypothesis, if any, asserts that monarch butterflies require energy from stored lipids neither for migration nor during the overwintering period? Neither means not either of them. So remember, this was migration and overwintering. This was migration only. This was overwintering only, which means none of them didn't need to store lipids. So D is our correct answer. Again, if you guys have any questions for me, I'm Mr. Stewart. You can email me or come by my room, 215.